Republican hearings in the House of Representatives blew up in their faces as Democrats turned the tables. Specifically, Republicans wanted to hold a hearing where they were going to find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress regarding not showing up for an under oath deposition regarding the Epstein files. So rather than turning over the Epstein files, the MAGA Republicans want to harass former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Let me just be very clear about my position here. I want there to be full transparency, but obviously this is a ruse to try to protect Donald Trump and not produce the Epstein files by making this about Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Ultimately, I want to see all witnesses show up, but you know that this is a deflect and distract attempt to try to cover up for Donald Trump and Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and what's actually in the files. So let me talk to you about what went down as Democrats turned the table where MAGA Republicans were trying to hold the Clintons in contempt. You have Democratic Congress member James Walkinshaw from Virginia point out that the MAGA Republicans are covering up the child sex trafficking ring here. Here, play this clip.
And let's be honest about the transparency that Attorney General Bondi has provided. This is DOJ Epstein data set number 4. It's number 4. Data set number 4. This is part of the 1% that folks have been talking about.
Then you have Democratic Congresswoman Stansbury point out that what her constituents want to know is what must be so bad in those Epstein files that Donald Trump's invading Venezuela and threatening Greenland in order to cover up whatever the hell's in those files. Play this clip.
And the question that I got over and over again from my constituents is what is in those files that is so bad that President Trump is invading Venezuela, threatening our NATO allies, and sending thousands of armed paramilitary troops onto our streets to create violence and chaos in American cities. That is what the American people are actually asking us.
Then you have Democratic Congresswoman Ansari points out that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, should be held in contempt. That what really this should be about is holding Bondi in contempt for violating the Epstein Transparency Act, which the MAGA Republicans refuse to do. Just think about that. They want to go after Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, while it is obvious that Pam Bondi did not follow the Epstein Transparency Act. And Ansari points it out. Ansari's like, 1% of the documents have been produced. Stop applauding Pam Bondi and the DOJ. And then James Comer's like, well, we're doing our best. We're doing our best. No, they claim they've been doing this since February. And now it is January, almost February, almost a full year. They say they have 1,000 lawyers working on it. These documents should be produced. Play this clip of Democratic Congresswoman Ansari. Play this clip.
Chairman, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has violated the subpoena issued by this committee. We should be holding her in contempt to remain fair and to remain transparent. And so I ask that you do that if you really, truly want to be fair and care about the justice for the victims here.
May I respond? We have been very clear. We expect those documents. She has complied. She's turned over documents in the
1%
beginning. In the beginning, you all complained and said the first document dump didn't have enough redactions, and the second document dump had too many redactions. So they're trying to get this, and I believe,
Mr. Chairman,
that we will get those documents very soon. I have been assured we're going to get those documents very soon.
I hear you, but with all due respect, given everything that she herself stated in February of last year, her own statements in front of the entirety of the American public saying, we have the documents, they are ready to go. Mm-hmm. The subpoena from this committee was issued in July.
And nobody on our side is defending Pam Bondi. I can assure you.
She should be held in contempt. If we are going to hold,
she is complying with, they have turned documents over. They have turned documents over, and every time they do, you all complain about too many redactions, not enough redactions. So
That is unacceptable. It has been 6 months.
All right,
and there's been
your time's
nothing
expired,
produced.
and we want the documents. We've made that very clear.
And then in some of the other hearings that were taking place, I'll bring you to some of the other ones as well. You have the MAGA Republicans like trying to attack Congresswoman McIver. And she's the Congresswoman from New Jersey who was arrested and prosecuted by Donald Trump's Gestapo forces. And she was prosecuted for showing up at the Delaney Detention Center in her district or right around her district in New Jersey. And she was like arrested and she's being federally prosecuted. And there's allegations and they're trying to charge her for going after the ICE officer when that's not what's on tape. Watch what happens as MAGA Republican Congressmember Crane goes after McIver and she's like, watch your mouth. Don't talk to me like that. Here, play this clip.
Mr. Crane, I don't know what your obsession is.
I thought you were supposed to address the chair.
I'm tired of you mentioning me. And
Mr. Chairman, is she supposed to address me or the chair?
Put it to the people of Arizona, not me.
Yeah, well,
Keep my
if you
name out
quit
of your mouth.
assaulting ICE agents,
Excuse me,
then I wouldn't keep bringing you up.
I am reclaiming my
Committee will
time.
come to order.
Watch your mouth when
Follow
you're
the
talking
rules
about
of the
me.
committee, Ms. McIver.
Excuse me, I'm reclaiming my time.
Then you have Democratic Congresswoman Crockett. Here's what she has to say when it comes to these MAGA Republicans acting like, we stand with law enforcement. They're like, you only like law enforcement when they go after black and brown immigrants. You don't like law enforcement when they're going after crimes that are being committed by you all. Play this clip.
It should not matter whether or not you're associated with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, independent, or whomever, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're middle class, whether you're a black immigrant or whatever. But it seems like we only have a political agenda in this committee, and that's why everything goes off the rails. You only love law enforcement when they're going after black, brown, immigrants, that kind of folk, right? But on January 6th, you didn't care about law enforcement because they still don't have their plaques up. We continue to do the right thing and say, yes, apply the rules equally across the board. And then y'all play in our faces and you only apply it to one side.
I thought this was a powerful moment where Democratic Congress member and ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Congressmember Garcia, finally said what needed to be said out loud, that Donald Trump is the one leading this cover-up of a child sex trafficking ring. Play this clip.
Taylor Greene on this committee reported that Trump told her that he wanted to continue his cover-up because, quote, my friends will get hurt. Donald Trump is leading a White House cover-up right now of the Epstein files. And we all know that Epstein himself said that Donald Trump was his best friend for over 10 years. And it is shameful, illegal, and unconstitutional that the Department of Justice has released 1% of the files. 1% of the files. Where is the pressure to get Pam Bondi to release the files? Instead, you're focused and the committee's focused on whoever you perceive to be your enemies and the enemies of Donald Trump. Because let's be clear. We want to talk to President Bill Clinton. We want him to answer our questions. We also want Ghislaine Maxwell to answer our questions. We also want to understand why Pam Bondi refuses to release all the files. 1% of the files have released. Millions have been left. No publications for weeks. That is a crime. And so this White House cover-up continues every single day that the files are not released. And yet, where are those calls, Mr. Comer? You're saying they're complying. That is both a lie and shameful.
Magic Spoon is basically the grown-up version of your favorite childhood cereals. It's that same fun taste, but none of the sugar bomb. High protein, zero sugar cereal that still hits that nostalgic Saturday morning note. Like I said, Magic Spoon is nostalgic. It tastes like the classics you grew up with, but without the sugar crash. Each serving packs 13 grams of protein, 5 grams net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar. So it actually keeps you fueled any time of the day. Breakfast, late night snack, post-workout, whenever. They've got a bunch of classic flavors like fruity, frosted, hot chocolate, cinnamon toast, and more. that cinnamon toast, that one's my favorite. New flavors launching in January include classic marshmallow. Now that's reminiscent of a certain childhood favorite enjoyed by all, and s'mores, the ultimate campfire-inspired cereal. Those both include real marshmallows and have 2 grams of sugar as opposed to 0 grams in the original cereal, but I'm cool to make that exception. Magic Spoon also has Magic Spoon treats. These Magic Spoon treats are crispy, airy, protein-packed snack bars with 12 grams of protein, great for tossing in your bag, keeping in the car, or grabbing between meetings. Flavors include marshmallow, chocolate peanut butter, dark chocolate, and more. These feel like a treat but actually function like a protein bar, so they scratch the sweet tooth itch without all the sugar. And last but certainly not least, there's Magic Spoon granola. 13 grams of protein, 0 added sugar, perfect for yogurt bowls or a quick handful snacking. Comes in dark chocolate almond, honey almond, peanut butter, and additional flavors. All of Magic Spoon's products are easy anytime. Breakfast snack, pre-workout, post-workout, or midnight snack. Look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or at your nearest grocery store, or get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/Meidas. That's magicspoon.com/Meidas for $5 off.
There was another hearing taking place as well with the HUD secretary, Housing and Urban Development Secretary, and his name is Scott Turner. And Democratic Congress member Sherman just utterly exposed Scott Turner. And what Sherman showed is that Scott Turner's like, we're here to help all the victims of fires and natural disasters. And Sherman's like, well, where I'm from, you want to talk about what's happening in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas? You haven't provided $1 to help the victims of the fires. Not $1. Watch this brilliant cross-examination. Here, play this clip.
How much to the LA fires?
That's all public. You can go find out. But yes,
0. I already found out. 0. You come here, you speak about helping disaster victims. This is the biggest disaster. You haven't done a penny, and you say it's because you don't like politicians, or you just say because you're just not going to bother to support aid to for those who suffered the biggest disaster on the watch of this administration.
Sir.
Yes.
I did not say I did not like politicians.
Okay, well, maybe you like politicians.
I said the leadership in California is the one that you need to be talking to. They're the ones.
Are you saying that the leadership I should talk to the leadership in California about why your department? You come here and you say that you're proud of helping the victims of disasters. You haven't done a single penny, not one penny, for the LA fires. And I should go talk to California politicians about why you haven't provided and do not support a single penny for those victims?
You need to talk to the leadership in California about how they're stewarding over the funds that they do have to help those in Palisades and Altadena.
So you're saying you should do nothing because California should do it on its own with the funds that it already has? Why do you come here and tell us how much your department helps disaster victims when with the biggest disaster your response is, oh, the local government should handle that and we should do nothing?
I'll repeat, $12 billion.
$12 billion to how much of that $12 billion came from your department and went to the LA fire victims?
You can go find out.
I know I've already found out. $0.00. Now you can try to take credit for what other agencies have done, but you came here to talk about your department helping fire victims, and your department has helped fire victims by providing $0.00. How can you speak with pride about your department helping fire victims, helping the victims of disaster, when you provided 0 and you don't, apparently, I keep asking you to say that you support doing something in the future with perhaps a supplemental appropriation. Do you support a CDBG program funded by Congress to help the victims of the LA fires?
Sir, I did answer that question. I do support CDBG DR.
For the LA fires?
For all of fire, flood, and victims of disasters and storms around our country.
Because my Republican colleagues have said they're ready to go with a supplemental appropriation when they get the signal from the administration that the administration supports it. You're here from the administration. Do you support CDBG that would include the fires in Los Angeles?
Sir, like I've told other members of this committee, I'm happy to work with you and your staff and this committee to make sure.
I'm asking, do you support it? Can you answer?
I did.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Then MAGA Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace just started ranting and raving. Watch this.
Oh, here's the unanimous consent.
Okay.
Through the Epstein thing, this is a tweet that I did about judges. I learned that, not all the judges have been forthcoming with information and files. I tweeted out on November 28th, impeach corrupt judges, especially South Carolina judges. I've done this about a dozen times or more. I'm guilty as charged. Last week, an attorney named Robert Murding, I would like to enter his image into the record too.
Without objection to order.
He is trying to hold me in contempt and told a judge should be thrown in jail for, among other things, tweeting out that judges should be held in, that judges should be impeached. This is what happens to survivors. This is what happens to victims. And I'm sorry, I would like to enter my predator bill into unanimous consent as well.
Without objection to order. And
thank you.
All right.
Next up, you have Democratic Congress member Maxwell Frost on Attorney General Pam Bondi breaking the law and covering up a child sex trafficking ring. Play this clip.
And so this amendment, I think, is very simple. I know the chairman keeps bringing up the fact that Pam Bondi is going to come to the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee is not the committee that is leading the investigation on this. We are the Oversight Committee. And so she can go over to the Judiciary Committee all she wants, like she, by the way, is supposed to, like every other attorney general has in the history of this country, shows up before the Judiciary Committee at least once a year or once a Congress to talk about a lot of different business. But we have a very specific thing we need to talk with her about. And it is talking with her about the fact that she is breaking the law and that the administration is obviously slow rolling, putting forth the Epstein files. And I do not buy this thing that, oh, well, they're taking their time to redact it and this and that. We all know that's a load of BS. We all know that that is a talking point that perhaps the administration gave some of my colleagues that they are just repeating over and over and over again. But when you have the entire Department of Justice or a lot of people working on this, you should be able to produce documents in a much faster way. And the law was clear. And by the way, it's the law that we all voted on. So if you thought that the timetable was unfair, you should have voted no. But you voted yes. We all voted yes, except one.
James Comer making it clear that his focus is not on releasing the Epstein files or forcing Ghislaine Maxwell to show up and testify, but instead the main focus is to go after former President Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Here, play this clip right here.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance two resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not take this action lightly, but subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. Former President Clinton and Secretary Clinton were legally required to appear for depositions before this committee. They refused. As Democrat Ranking Member Garcia stated, and I quote, "Defying a congressional subpoena is highly illegal," end quote. He also stated, and I quote, "No one is above the law." Actions have consequences.
More from Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett right here. Let's play this clip of her. Let's play it.
I refuse to be a puppet because Democrats tend to be of goodwill. We always want to do the right thing. We are always trying to follow the rules and follow the law. Unfortunately, we are living with an administration that does not care. We just want some type of parity. So for instance, we all want to hear from President Clinton. If for some reason you said, we will give you, say, Pam Bondi, and then we've got President Clinton with it, or say maybe President Trump and President Clinton, two presidents, because we know that both presidents actually had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. But what looks political and looks like one can get away with everything, especially since that's what the Supreme Court has stated, that's why it looks like it's just gamesmanship. You only care about following the rules so long as you can invoke those rules on what is typically perceived as your political enemies. This is why we are falling apart in this country. We are supposed to be about checks and balances.
Here was the full clip of James Walkinshaw, a Democratic Congress member. I think this was an incredible part of the hearing. Let's play it.
And if we're truly serious about justice, we can't ignore one of Epstein's most well-documented associates, President Donald J. Trump. We have documented communications, including a signed birthday note from Donald Trump containing explicit sexual references and referencing wonderful secrets between them. Emails from Epstein saying that Trump, quote, knew about the girls. Donald Trump acknowledging he knew Epstein was a, quote, creep and that Epstein recruited girls and women from Mar-a-Lago. Trump saying he wants to cover up the files because, quote, my friends will get hurt. If we're committed to transparency and justice, why is that off limits for this committee? Why is his name absent? Why no discussion of Attorney General Bondi's refusal to comply for months with this committee's subpoena? Why no contempt for Attorney General Bondi? What we're witnessing today is not oversight. It's not accountability. It's part of a cover-up, a diversion. And it didn't start today. Despite clear legal requirements in a law that Donald Trump signed, a subpoena that you signed, Mr. Chairman, and repeated public promises, Attorney General Bondi has failed to release the files. It's entirely within her control. And yet only 1% has been produced, more than a month late. And even that sliver is so heavily redacted that it mocks the law. It mocks the law. And it mocks this committee's subpoena. Let's be honest about the transparency that Attorney General Bondi has provided. This is DOJ Epstein data set number 4. It's number 4. Data set number 4. This is part of the 1% that folks have been talking about this today. I'll close with this. Attorney General Bondi and the Trump administration missed their deadline. They're ignoring our subpoena. They've withheld 99% of the files, and they have obscured the little that they did release. It's not a coincidence. It's intentional. It's about protecting one man, Donald J. Trump, from accountability. Release the files. I yield back.
And then finally, we have Congressmember Garcia. Here's what he had to say. Let's play it.
I want to just make one thing clear. Oversight Democrats from the start of this investigation have been crystal clear that we're willing to talk to anyone who has information about Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes. And we don't care if they're wealthy, their position, if they're Democrats or Republicans. And we agree, subpoenas issued by our committee must always be respected. No president or former president is above the law. It's interesting that it's this subpoena only that Republicans and the chairman have been obsessed about putting all their energy behind. You are unwilling to use on Ghislaine Maxwell, a monster who has trafficked, abused, and raped children and women, and which every committee member in this body knows should be in front of this committee. Where is the contempt charges to bring her into this committee to answer the questions? And I hope that you would agree, Mr. Comer, that that should be one of our top priorities.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And thank you so much for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.